Alright, what's going on, guys? So I'm going to be continuing my Azami guides, and I'm on Nighthaven Labs at the moment. I'm going to be going through 3 of the bomb sites that you'll play in ranked: server, kitchen, and the basement. So yeah, I'm just going to get straight into it. So generally, the way that I like to play Azami on this is to just sort of help like the team as a whole, rather than like some maps I like to sort of have like a big, basically like build a bunker for myself in some ways. But in this map, I like to sort of like put them around different places and help out the team. So for the first one, I'll put it on the corner of this box thing, because it blocks the rotate hole here. It get like usually later on in the round it'll get to a point where the attackers are sort of coming in through here. They're coming in through the breach, or through the, if they make a rotate hole there, they're coming in through the here, and then they're sort of holding this. They're holding the holes, they're holding the door, and they're holding like backside. So you can't leave, you can't come in to help. If they start planting, like say they start planting here, and someone's holding this, you can't exactly push in to help anything. So with this, it just means that you can there's one less angle to worry about when you're trying to retake. So you can sort of go in. You can like go in, check the side, check the and then just start pushing. Obviously it gets to a point where you have to worry about that, but by this point you can probably stop a planter, or you can kill more people. So it's just a good way to block off an angle. The next one, a common thing that I like to do with this army is to make like head holes more safe to use, because obviously the head holes are there, but around it is wood, so you can't just get shot below the head holes. Obviously you can't just get wall banged a little bit and lose some health. I don't mean to make the hole this far, you should reinforce this wall by the way. But what I like to do is to put in his army on the bottom here. Obviously you can still use the head hole for its intended purposes, and it just means that the only way you can die is if they get a headshot on you, realistically. And it just makes it harder for them. You can shoot to any part of their body. You can do like damage to the legs, to the feet, to the arms, to the shoulder, to the head. But they can only shoot you in the head, and it just makes it easier to hold. Like, it makes it easier to play. So I like to do that. And then the next thing I like to do on this map is to put one on the top of this door here, like that. And this means that when you're playing these head holes, if you're playing back in command here, you don't have to worry so much about this angle. Without the Azami being there, there's an angle all the way from like when they just first walk in the breach, they can see all the way back sight here. So if you're trying to play behind this reinforcement and hold this, and you're getting shot from there, it gets a bit like frustrating, and like gets a bit like a clusterfuck. So if you put this there, it totally blocks off that angle. They can't even see the holes. Like, I mean, I'm crouching here and I can only just see the top of the other Azami there. And I can just see around the holes here, but I have to obviously go like crouch. So it's just a nice thing to do. Obviously they can melee, but if you've still got this side control, you can stop them from meleeing it. This is a sort of common rotate that people like to do on this map. They'll reinforce this wall and make a rotate, like a vault rotate here, which is what I would recommend that you do if you have a shotgun player on your stack. Or if you have like anyone with a shotgun, or even just use impacts. But then to add to this, what I like to do is to put in his army on this table here. For 2 reasons. One, it blocks off the door, so like it blocks off the angle from the door to the holes here. I mean, it's only a tight angle anyway, but it blocks it off, so they can't use it. And you can vault up on here and use this as a head peak. What I like to do to add to that is to put a final Azami on the top of this door here, like that, and then it just gives you a one-way on that doorway, and obviously like that. What you'll want to do if you're playing with a stack is to have your bandit player bandit trick this wall, or Cade player Cade trick this wall, and like reinforce them, Cade trick it, or bandit trick it. And then you can stand on this one way and just protect your teammate. If I'm like an attacker, I'm probably gonna come try and stop the bandit trick. Oh, I'm dead. Like it's obviously they can go below, but it's very rare that I see people go below this wall. So obviously a lot of people go below this wall, the outside wall over here, because you can just get it from the outside window downstairs. So I don't really like to bandit trick this wall anymore. Obviously if you like know for a fact that they're going to come for this wall and not that wall, you can bandit trick this wall. But what I like to do is to stop bandit tricking this wall. If you know that if they like shoot the cam over here, you know that they're coming from this way, get your bandit to rotate over and stop bandit tricking. And then yeah, you can protect them from this one way. And then after you've done that, you can rotate over here, play this one like that, and you can safely rotate around here, go back into the other side. If you want to make, like, you can kind of see around this one, but like yeah. So yeah, that's the top floor out of the way. I'm gonna go down to the basement now. Alright, so for the basement, as I mentioned on the upstairs site, for some sites on some maps I like to make a sort of little bit of a bunker. And this is kind of what I like to do for the basement site, in that I like to sort of have like play in this room as Azami. From here you can stop. You can stop push through the window here. You can stop push through here. There's two sort of places people like to plant. They'll plant on this door here, or they'll plant like tucked here. They'll breach this wall and like plant tucked here. Because to stop the plant in that corner, you have to like swing out, and if they're covering the plant like that, it's just an easy cover for them. Or they'll plant on this breach here by like going into this corner. They can vault up on here and plant in there. So there's one position on the map that can stop both of these pushes, and that's this room here. So you can stop the pushing through the door, you can hold it if they breach the wall here, you can swing around a bit. So I like to put his armies to sort of help with this. And the way that I do that is the first one I'm going to show you is on this corner of this table here. A little bit lower down on the corner here. And then from this you can hold the door, and you can just have like pixels to hold the door and stuff like that. And you can swing around, hold it more aggressively if you want to. It just makes like having this here rather than not having this here is just a cover or no cover kind of thing. You can't really like, you can kind of play like this to hold it, but it just gives you more options. You can play more. If you have more than one option, there's less chance of you getting pre-fired off the angle basically, as well as being in angles that aren't expected by them. For the next one, what I like to do is I'll put it on the corner of this table here, sort of like near this right side here. And what this does is, for one, it gives you an extra position to play inside, as well as it blocks off the angle here. So I mean, not fully, because the breach is like massive, you can't block off the whole breach, but you can pretty quickly just run in and then play this angle and be relatively safe, like hug the wall and come in. So it just gives you an extra bit of cover and some like harder angles to fight for the attackers. So for the third one, this adds to the sort of bunker feel, is to put one on the bottom of this wall here. You want to reinforce this wall on the left here, but again it just like protects the angle, like protects you when you play in this angle. You can put it a little bit higher if you want to, but it doesn't really matter too much. If you put it a little bit higher, there'll be less of you shown to the enemy obviously. For the fourth one, I put it on this window here, but put it on this side of the window, like not the outside. You might sort of assume like, oh, just put it on this side and it'll be fine, but if you put it on this side, generally when you're vaulting up on here, you'll end up destroying it. So I just put it on the other side so it doesn't get destroyed by me by like jumping on it. And just put it sort of in the middle here, like that. And then from this, you can obviously you can hold pixels on both sides of it. So it just gives you like two sort of hard to fight angles that you can like flick around between. What I will say about holding these type of angles, like these sort of when you're just holding like a pixel on them, is not to hold them for too long. Because if you get droned on this angle and you just stay there, like if let's say I've just droned you on the angle, I can just come in and pre-fire. Obviously I'll like yellow ping it so I'll know exactly where you are, so I'll just yellow ping like here, and then I'll just come around and pre-fire. Like there's not really a lot you can do as a defender to fight against that if they know exactly where you're going to be peeking. So you just got to be you got to be careful with how you're peeking them. Like for example, just switch it up. Obviously they try not to be consistent with how you switch it up. You got to be a bit random. But yeah, so for the final one, as I said, like this position can hold down all of these like angles and stop the plant on the breach. If you go on here and you sort of vault up here, if you go on here and you sort of like stand on this, it'll bring you up a little bit and you can see over the top like that. Obviously if you make this hold a bit higher like that, you can see them when they're running in to go for the plant here. And what you might also want to do is to sort of come close up on the reinforcement and stop like fight. So I'll put one at the bottom here as well, like that. I mean, I probably would put this one a little bit higher, because it has all this bit of wood here. If you put it a bit higher, then it won't have all that. But you can sort of like peek around here and stop the plant if you want to play closer. If this is like if they've just run in like sort of a rush and you don't have the time to sort of get yourself up on this, you can just run close up here and play on this one and peek here like that. So yeah, that's it for the basement. I'm gonna go on to the kitchen now. Alright, so for the kitchen site, I generally like to just play on site with Azami, and I'll sort of put the Azamis to help me like navigate site safely and have cool angles on site. So for the first one, I generally like to play here, because it's a pretty safe position. The floor above you is not breachable, but this floor here is breachable, and from this floor here they can get an angle on you, so be careful for that. But I just like to jump down and try and fight them basically. But the way that I like to play the first Azami is to put one on the corner here. Make sure be careful as well, because the sort of like it goes inwards there, and if you put it on the top bit that goes in, it goes like all messed up. So put it generally around here, and this will block the door here from the angle, so you can play on here, then you won't be as like thingy from the door. I'll put another one on top of this door to fully block it off here, like that, as well as make it harder for attackers to actually push in from there. And you can hold like one ways on it from different positions, but if you go right here, there's not really much angles they can get. They can get that little bit there, but you're probably not going to die to that, let's be real. The next one I like to put is to block this the door to site here from the hallway. You can block the door to the hallway so you can play in kitchen pretty safely. As well as this, you can sort of vault up on the counters and fight it. Obviously, if you stand on the counter, you're visible at the kitchen window, so you'll want to crouch and play around it, or you'll want to like jump down here and play around it like that. So it's up to you. The next one I like to put on this sort of table here, the same way I put on the first two, like that. And you can vault up here and make deagle holes here if you don't have a shotgun player in your stack to make a hole for you. And you can see the hallway there. But to make this even better, I like to put a one-way on this door here, like that. And because the hallway is so like narrow, they can't get far away enough to even see you at all here. Same goes for if you're standing on this head peak as well. If you're standing up here, you can do the same sort of one way, and I'll show you what it looks like now for the for the attacker, sorry. Because there's not really much like distance they can go back, they can't really get a deep angle. Like the way that perspectives work, if I'm close here, I can only see here, but if I go further back, I can see further deep. But it's that like narrow, you can't see deep enough to even get an angle here. You can get like the tiniest bit of angles here. And then for this one, you can like, if you're crouching, you can see it a little bit when you go close, like that. But for the most part, if I'm just running down the hallway or something, I'll come here. I'm probably not gonna like, unless I fully know to pre-aim that, I'm probably not gonna like check this. And by the time I like line myself up to get the angle, I'm gonna be a freebie for the defender setup here. Oh, and I've destroyed it. Nice. Yeah, just be careful when you vault up. Make sure you vault up like this way, like that, instead of like how I just did. What this also does here as well is it gives you a bit of a protection to fight the breach if they breach this wall here. But generally, if you put denial on the wall and you're fighting them from here and here, they're not going to feel safe enough to peek this door and try and shoot the denial off. So they'll have to try and go above where you can try and fight them again. So yeah, just gives you a bit of protection to fight the breach as well as the hallway. And obviously, if the breach is closed, you can sort of play close up on these to fight this one way here. So if that's what you want to do, you can do that as well. So yeah, that's all three of the sites I'm going to go through. If you enjoyed and you're going to use these as armies, then drop a like down below, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.